My name's GuyKesTV. I've been testing bikes professionally for 21 years. And today, I'm having an easier time than usual on the climbs of Yorkshire, thanks to the bike I'm riding. The Focus Paralane squared with the Fazua motor system. Now, I say having an easier time on climbs because this isn't just a full-on fast as you like motorbike. As the speed builds up, the motor gets to about here, about 24k, and then you're just coasting. But what's remarkable is how smoothly it comes on and off that motor. I've got quite a lot of wind noise today, and you can't hear it at all. And because it's a relatively heavy bike, 14.2 kilos with the battery and motor in it, 10.7 without the battery and motor in it, because you can remove the whole battery and motor system from the carbon frame, and I'll show you that later. And this little unit here is your dial for power, so that's minimal power, working a bit harder, medium power, oh yeah, there's a kick, and then full beans, as you can see. Nice bit of acceleration up here. So keep it below 24 to keep that motor running, and happy days. I mean, that cut-off speed, that 24 kilometers an hour, that equates to about 15 mile an hour. So if you're a reasonably fit rider, obviously you're only going to get that benefit on steeper hills. There you go, give it some up here as it steepens up. And I've been using it a lot for commuting, and the time difference isn't massive. But if you're carrying a laptop and everything else in, riding into work at Cycle Expo Yorkshire, quick plug for my new employers there, it does make things a lot easier. And it's as you crest out on bits like this. I mean, torque's 60 Newton meters, which isn't as big as some of the MTB motors. They're only run about 75. And the battery's all encased in that really neat big carbon fibre down tube, 250 watt hour. So again, half the capacity of a big MTB battery, but and depending on usage, you'll get anything from an absolute full power mountain smash fest, where you'll probably get about 50k, 1,000 metres of climbing out of it. Or if you're just tapping along, nicely tucked in eco mode, and I can't see any problem with getting, you know, hundreds and hundreds of k out of it. And all the other bikes in the series start off with a standard 105, standard Ultegra, and Ultegra Di2 on this one, and Duo-S Di2 on the top one. But really nice DT Swiss spline wheels on there, reasonably wide, top quality, 28mm Conti tyres, carbon FSA crank down behind his Spats boots there. And interestingly, because you got the motor there, they put a 52-36 chainring on there. So it's a bigger ratio than the standard Paralane setup, which is a 50-34. And it comes with what they call the waterproof system, fully waterproof system, basically mudguards, as standard. And the great thing about the mudguards now is the old Paralane mudguards used to bounce around a lot. So they've gone to a twin stay system now at the back. So there's none of the bounce and twang there used to be. So if you are buying a Paralane, make sure it's got those. But apart from those differences in spec level, carbon frame, with these quick release axles, the mudguards, everything else is the same across all four models. And while they don't do an XXL or an extra small, the extra large in the Paralane squared sits halfway between the extra large and the extra large in the standard Paralane, as well as adding 3.3 kilos. Also adds about £2,300 to the price, depending what model you get. But like I say, you do get an up-spec DT Swiss wheel set rather than Alex mixed wheel set. and we'll do a stop and stare and have a look at more of the tech details. But basically, you've got a mountain bike style boost axle across the rear there, 12mm axle, 48mm spacing, just so you've got more room around the motor, and that's also matched up at the front with 110mm spacing. As you can see, I'm twiddling away here. There's a bit of motor noise, but probably only just hear it over the wind noise anyway. And same alloy bar and cockpit across all models. Same axle standard, same mudguards, same carbon fork and frame. And you can get a blanking plate to run the bike without the motor, because interestingly, it's actually really quick without the motor on. Not just because if the motor's still in there, there's no resistance, so if you are pedalling faster than 25k, 50 mile an hour, it actually rolls really smoothly, I guess, because there's a bit of extra momentum in there. But I had one glitch before I worked out the battery catch was a bit sticky at first. So one ride home from Leeds on the night, battery wouldn't engage, no motor. I was like, gonna die. Don't know, it's because I was feeling a bit cheesed off, but fastest commute I've had home so far by 5 minutes. So, you know, even though you have got that extra weight on, it's no slouch. It really isn't. And the handling again, yes, there's a bit of extra weight to stop, and it does feel like a loaded bike, because it is a loaded bike, but compared to like a bike packing bike where you've got all your weight up high, where it's going to affect the centre of gravity more, this is all pretty much down in the centre of the bike, so it's about as well hidden as you could hope for. And although the front end can feel a bit high and a bit vague, it's definitely worth getting in the drops for on descents. To be fair, that's the same as the standard Paralane, and that's the same as pretty much every sportive bike you could choose to ride. It's got a high front end, it's naturally going to feel a bit more kind of spooked on really fast twisty descents. So just get in the drops, make use of those Conti tyres, make use of those Shimano discs, and very happy days then. And again, fastest descending commute I've had was on that ride home I came without the battery on. So yeah, bit of extra weight on the descents, needs a bit more braking, but it also lights up the bike really well in terms of the speed it'll achieve. As I say, it comes with Conti's 28s on as standard, but there's room for 35s, just like the standard Paralane. So even with these tyres on, it's not averse to the occasional gravel shortcut. With 35s on, definitely up for a bit of rough. I mean, it is slightly stiffer than the standard bike. If you hit a big lump, there's definitely more of a thump through it, but overall, I mean, I've read a couple of online reviews that said it was pretty unforgiving and stiff, but to be honest, I've been surprised, because you've got that bigger diameter, you've got this shock absorbing seat post, but it is a bigger diameter than the standard Paralane one, so it's not as smooth in the saddle. But then you've got alloy bars on all models, which again, a bit more thump and bump than standard perhaps. You had a smoother carbon bar on, but overall, certainly not punishing. Considering the extra complexity of the motor and the extra weight of it, you know, there's just more thumping up and down, there's more kinetic energy the bike needs to absorb. Been commuting on it, day riding on it. I mean, I probably don't need it, I'm not showing off there, it's just, you know, my average cruising speed is higher than what this bike naturally, what the Fazua will run to. So, you know, I don't need it yet. But if I wanted to go riding with other people who weren't quite as fit or were ill or just fancied an easier ride, then I can still get a good workout in, trying to hold 20-25k up the climbs, and they're not getting left. But overall, the biggest surprise is just how well it runs off the motor. Not only is it really seamless as you come backwards and forwards onto it, but it just cruises really, really well. In 37 now, 39, 38. Just bowling along. A bit of a tailwind, because I've used the motor out into the headwind, but just gliding along. You wouldn't know you weren't on a conventional bike with a bit of weight on it. Simple as that. And then, you know, to the length of the day, or the gradient does start to sink its teeth in, then you have got that motor backup. I mean, one thing where you really notice the motor is acceleration. So while it might only give out, well, it might only get you up to 15 miles an hour, that first ease away, whether it's uphill or away from traffic lights when you're commuting, it's just brilliant. And it's actually, you know, busy city centres, it's actually quite a nice safety feature, because you can get into that box in front of the lights and pull away. No problem at all. The actual stiffness and accuracy, considering it's basically completely open down tube, you know, the motor doesn't add anything structural. It's really impressive. You know, the whole bike ties together really, really well. It doesn't feel like half of its down tube being hacked away, which is basically the case. And the 28mm tyres help a little bit, pushing out the ride, but you know, these are tubeless wheels as well, so no problem taking the bike tubeless, which is definitely something I'd be looking at. Maybe even if you're just cruising it on road, going up to 30, 32, it should just still sneak inside these mudguards. And if you're gravelling and it's not wet, get on the full 35s. But just the fact it now comes with mudguards as standard, quick release axles, it's just a thoroughly practical bike for, you know, expanding your horizons if you haven't time or life left to get throw at getting fit, or just want to go quicker than you naturally would. It's a really nice riding, versatile bike, and I think the fact it looks like a standard road bike is going to be a really big plus to a lot of people who'll be turned off by having a hybrid style bike. And I can see that. If you've lived all your life riding a road bike, you want drops, you want that variability of position. You know, you don't want to just be Mr. Hybrid man, Mr. Flat Bars. I'm not really a roadie anymore. No bike's perfect, it is pricey, and I've no idea on long term. Fazua's been out a year or so in the real world. Certainly not heard any big issues with it, but then again, not that many people are using it currently. And I did have that little glitch with the battery not engaging, but turned out that was purely just a latch thing. There's nothing electrical going on there. Talked to the lads at Prologue in Harrogate, who are my local dealers, and they're like, yeah, they come dry. Sometimes you need to just dab a bit of grease on it. It's as simple as that. But this hill can be a right beast at the end of a ride. And here I am, merrily chatting to you, showing up in a 52 with cog spare on the back. But again, probably, given the demographic who are likely to be using it, I think you'd be fine with a 50-34. So it's still going to give you plenty of top end beyond the motor, but it's going to keep you in a more comfortable rev range, even with that motor assist. Not a massive deal. It's something you can chat to your dealer about changing. That remote, it's not the prettiest looking thing. Pretty basic considering how well designed the Fazua app is. This gives you sort of ride planning and bike diagnostics, but overall it's just a really, really neat package. Really well integrated, Really well put together. Looks good, rides well, it's got that all-weather versatility. Fazua system. Really impressed with how just user-friendly that is. Having things like the DT Swiss wheels on there, top quality wheels. Ultegra Di2, if you can afford it, it works beautifully with this system. Just that slightly smoother shift, especially with that direct mount on the rear mech there for a slightly stiffer, more accurate setup. 160mm brakes. I mean, in terms of a complete bike package, they really have thought it out very, very well. Though I maybe would go down the size on the chainrings. But yeah, if you want a faster, really neatly synced, really versatile e-bike, whether you're commuting, whether you're going on long distance rides, or even for a bit of gravel, Focus Paralane2 E-Road family, definitely worth looking at. Just be totally clear, Focus haven't paid for this one at all. I'm doing it because I want to build up the road bike content. Seems daft not to, as I'm going to have the World Championships on my doorstep this year. So expect more bikes with strange drop handlebars, with and without motors. And make sure you buy tickets to Cycle Expo Yorkshire as well. Got to get that plug in. September 21st to 22nd. Very good showground. But no, Focus Paralane. Great bike, really exciting category, and a really well sorted, well, yeah, first attempt for a road bike, but definitely not the first attempt for an e-bike from Focus, and I think that shines through. I really am waffling on. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing if you haven't already, if you've come on here because you're into road bikes or e-road bikes. Like I said, there's going to be a lot more of that content. And if you've watched it, but you're mainly a mountain biker, don't worry, I've not gone all drop bar, shave and leg roady. There'll be plenty of knobbly tied stuff, with and without motors, coming up over the year, including some very exciting exclusives shortly. Cheers now, folks. Over and out. GuyKesTV.